Hey, did you know we're also on Spotify? You can listen to No Offsides on Spotify while you're busting out reps in the gym, driving to your next tournament, mowing the lawn to gain brownie points with your wife because you're always gone at tournaments, or while you're getting in some much needed shooting and stick handling practice. So if you're into multitasking, make sure to follow us on Spotify, where you can listen to all of our awesome content on the Spotify app. What's up, Rink Rats? It's Woody. I'm here to tell you that this week's episode is brought to you by Champion Hockey. If you're looking for quality wheels, sticks, bags, and apparel, then look no further. Champion Hockey has everything you need to look and play like a champion. Check out top-of-the-line Legacy Series sticks and wheels and upgrade your game without breaking the bank. Go to champion.hockey to purchase your gear now, and make sure to check out Champion on Instagram at Champion Hockey to stay updated with products and events. Champion Hockey. Look like a champion.
No offside.
Welcome back for the episode of No Offsides, where we like to talk roller hockey. I'm Dan Dean here with my partner,
Justin Wood.
There you go. Our guest today is the owner of Epic Hockey, Dan Costa. How are you, man?
I'm doing okay, boys. How about you?
Oh, not so bad. It seems like your day is just, camera on your phone's not really working that well. It doesn't want to kick you off. So
It keeps getting afraid of my face, which I don't blame it, honestly. Here, like I'll turn it on. You can see me for a hot second, and it'll turn off in like two. Yep, there it is.
There it goes. A little technical.
We can imagine what you look like.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But Dan, we wanted to bring you on to No Offsides podcast because as a company that has been making waves in the roller hockey communities. We see your name around at tournaments and, attached to pro teams and stuff like that and other teams. We had to bring you on because we want to know about the company. We want to know about Epic Hockey. We want to know where it started and, what got you into I'm going to make a hockey company.
Well, how much time you got?
Start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
boy.
start from when I was still in high school. The rink that I played at, the roller rink that I played at, it ended up closing down. And there was really nothing in the area, so I basically begged and pleaded my dad to let me open one. And from then on, it's just been like I've been wanting to just constantly make roller hockey better in some way, shape, or form. We made that rink. It was great for where it was and everything like that. And I've been a goalie forever. So one of the first things I ever did when I got my new goalie pads was try to mod them and make them fit me specifically.
Okay.
So it'd be things that I just figure, I'll add this to it and it'll cushion my knees better, or just all kinds of crazy crap that I used to do. And somewhere along the line, when we had the rink open and we had our AIHL team, the Ripon Savage, I got in contact with CJ Gamble from Verbero, and we own teams in the division, so we were kind of forced to communicate at some point, but became pretty decent friends. And he had Verbero, and I was always wanting to do something, and he wanted to take it to the next level, so we kind of partnered up and started making gear. And Verbero, for what it was a pretty good company while back, maybe a few years ago when we owned it, and it's still going strong. Ended up selling that. CJ and I parted ways. There's a little bit of pain there, and we won't go into it, but it wasn't the best of breakups. Since then, when I sold it in 2018, I just kind of decided I want to do this again, but I want to do this in a way that I can actually be full on proud of and not have to worry about someone else's input. I wanted to be sure that the things that I was doing, I truly 100% believed in. And that's where Epic came up.
right. And if you love this show, then you will also love the College Roller Foundation. The College Roller Foundation is a volunteer-run, tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit organization that exists solely to raise and distribute funds to deserving college roller hockey student athletes in the form of scholarships. The College Roller Foundation isn't a tournament series, league, championship, governing body, or sanctioning agency, but rather works with partners to host events to raise and distribute all those dollar bills to roller players who also like to get their academia on. By raising money through donations and divvying out these scholarships to the players, the College Roller Foundation seeks to grow the game of roller in college. And if you're interested in finding more info, helping out, or donating, please visit www.collegerollerfoundation.com and make sure to follow them on Instagram at College Roller Foundation. College Roller Foundation, growing the roller game one scholarship at a time. It's time to join a revolution in roller with US Roller Cup, a premier roller hockey tournament series. The US Roller Cup is led by a passion for the sport. US Roller Cup is driven to create an unparalleled experience for players, fans, and coaches alike. With a focus on promoting roller hockey at all levels from youth to professional, we are committed to growing the game and fostering a sense of community within the roller hockey world. To find out more information, find tournaments near you, or to sign up for an upcoming tournament, go to www.usrollercup.com and be sure to follow USRC on Instagram at US Roller Cup. US Roller Cup, a revolution in roller.
Now, not that we're going to talk about the breakups, but not all breakups. I mean, there's some messy breakups. There's some good breakups. There's some breakups that people are still best friends with. It's just a part of life, right? So, and it's definitely an interesting story, right? To where you went from having a rink to then coming up with a company, and then selling that company, and then going, I still want to do this, right? And why Epic though? Like why label it Epic? Like why is Epic why did you go to that?
Well, I actually love telling the story. So basically, if you notice on the logo on Epic, it's the E and the I of Epic look a little different. That's because the E is actually a 3 and the I is actually a 1. Reason being, when I met my wife, she had a pre-started family, and our son wanted something to call us, some kind of name to call us, like our new family unit. And their last name was Pasqua, mine Costa. So he came up with 3P1C, 3 Pasquas, 1 Costa, makes us Epic.
Hey, that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty sick, right?
Really, yeah. And it just so happens that it makes a word, like it makes actual words, so it makes it better.
Right. And he actually came up with the logo and everything like that. I essentially just stole it from him all. but no, I mean, like it's great because we're the whole thing about doing this business wasn't ever to get rich. That was never the goal. The goal is just to make things that the hockey community would love, and to do something that could make my family proud. You know what I mean? This was just all we want to do is just make good stuff. And I feel like we do that pretty well.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, talk about your stuff, right? So if anyone's interested, their website is epichockey.com. I'm actually looking at the signature player stick, right? And it's got a unique design on the hosel.
Yeah.
And so is there any reason why, like, what makes this stick so special?
So what I love about our sticks is the fact that they're fully 100% balanced. Whereas, you normally get like a player stick nowadays, and yeah, they're light. They're decently light. That's fine. Okay, good. Your stick's under 300 grams. Okay, great. It's gonna break immediately. But the fact that the sticks, when you pull them out of the racks and Pure or Giant or wherever you're at, you can pick them up and immediately go, oh, all of the weight is in the blade, or all of the weight is in the handle, or what, like they do whatever they can to strengthen those areas, and then those sticks become brittle because they're not balanced correctly. They're not an extension of your hands. Whereas ours, we are fully balanced all the way through. Not one end is heavier than the other end of the stick, and it feels completely like an extension of your hands.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely something that I've never. I mean, obviously, we all know that the blades are usually heavier, right? But something that not I'm sure that many companies have even considered. So it's definitely. I actually was given one of your Epic sticks, so I'm gonna have to go put it in my hand and feel it out. But just kind of looking at it and looking at some of the gear here. So you guys sell gloves. You guys sell two types of sticks. You sell a goalie stick, and you have a bag, and then it looks like a socks and a long sleeve undershirt.
Yep.
Now, are your goalie paddles kind of more recent than the player sticks?
A little bit, yeah. The first player sticks, well, actually, all the products actually came out in 2021, I think, is when I actually fully came out with everything. And then the paddles and the signature stick came out 1 year later. Essentially, we've been working on it all since 2018, but those ones weren't quite finished yet in 2021. So in 2021, when everything came out, those were essentially done. Just needed a couple of tweaks. And that was my whole thing with this company was, if I don't think it's perfect, if I don't think it's ready, it's not coming out. Which I've had numerous conversations with other people in other companies where it was just like, well, we're out of time, we have to release it. It's like, it's not going to do anything for us. It's not a good business model to release something that isn't finished. All of the video game industry, it's just like, but we can't patch what we're selling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we can't later come out and say like, here's the full game, as a free patch, right? But like we can't do that at all with like a skate or something. It's like, yeah, it's not fully finished. It's not great. But next year's product will be better. It's like, well, next year's product needs to be finished.
Now it seems like you're looking at I'm looking at the pricing. It seems like your price to sell, right? You're looking for pretty much, it seems like, at the lower end of the market for some quality sticks. Is that
so
kind of
right now with our stuff, we've had the signature and the trademark for since 2021. I figured out that doing this business model that I have is really, really hard when it's just me doing it all. So instead of me having stock to sell from now on, like I'll have stuff. If you wanted to buy a stick or whatever, if we have it in stock, then I'll send it out. I'm essentially blowing all the product out right now so that I can go custom only, because custom only is just so much easier to handle when it's one guy.
Okay.
Like from, if anybody's ever ordered anything from Epic, you've got a stick, you got gloves, bags, socks, whatever. That's me designing it, me coordinating with the factories. That's me going through all the emails. That's me setting up the website. That's me doing the social media posts. That's me boxing, shipping, and coordinating all that so it gets to you. At one point, it's a bit taxing. So I'm going custom only. So essentially, I can basically take out 4 of the 12 steps, and that helps for just helps for sanity, honestly.
Now, I mean, what are you offering in customization?
Honestly, if you want anything done, I can do just about anything. The only thing I can't do right now is actual goalie pads, but I can make paddles, I can make gloves, your sticks, your bags, your custom team equipment. If you want uniforms, like you've seen how the Society last year and how Blood and Feathers and in the Epic Empire, how they look and everything, that's all me. So, that's anything you want done that for hockey, I can make that happen.
Oh, sweet.
What do you think
what do you think about like the varying qualities of material, specifically with like pants, jerseys, and gloves? Do you have something that it's like a go-to for you?
Yeah, for pants and jerseys, I like Cool Max materials for especially for roller hockey because it just breathes better. It's lighter. It's like that nylon-y, cottony type thing. It's not made out of cotton. It is all nylon, and you can sublimate really easily on it. But what I really love about it is it's strong, it's durable, but it's also super soft to the touch. So it feels good to wear, but also doesn't leave you ridiculously hot in the summer for no reason. And then in gloves, a lot of guys are going back to the leather in the gloves, and I just find it once it gets wet, it's real heavy, and I don't like that. I enjoy the synthetic leathers and I enjoy the nylons because they're better at wicking moisture. And I mean, if you played hockey for more than 5 minutes, you realize that your hands sweat. So it's nice to get some of that moisture off of your hands so you can still stick handle and get around people and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I find that a lot of companies seem to cut corners on especially gloves in the palm area.
Yeah, which is not something we've ever done.
Yeah, and I wasn't leading to that, but like, yeah, I mean, it's just like, you play a couple of tournaments and you already have a hole going in your palm or a seam's ripping, and it's like, come on, like.
I've got guys wearing Epic gloves right now that have been wearing them since 2020 and still have no holes.
Nice.
And I thought it was crazy, but then again, mine don't have them either. But I also don't play very hard because I'm not very good.
So actually, a funny story. I talk about gloves. I actually won a pair of your gloves through one of your social media giveaways.
Nice.
And so I was using them for a while, but Justin knows our rink's outside, and of course I caught it tripping, and then immediately went knuckles down, and nope, there goes all the material because we play on asphalt. So I was like, damn it.
I was gonna lead into that and say, do you think you can make some gloves with like metal studded knuckles and finger knuckles for outdoor leagues?
Yes, absolutely, I can.
That sounds like we're getting into a friggin' bare knuckle fight, and you're looking for knuckle dusters on your gloves.
So
no, it's just for the destruction.
So what's wrong with what's really weird that you say that is a couple years ago for April Fools, I decided that I was gonna put on a couple of posts on Instagram about our new gloves have brass knuckles in them and whatnot, right? It was just funny. Everybody kind of got that it was satire and whatnot, but I got so many people going like, "No, for real, could you do this?"
Oh no.
And my dad actually owns a company that does law enforcement equipment and clothing and gear and that kind of thing. So he makes gloves with carbon fiber inserts in the knuckles. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually looked at it. It's not hard to do.
I mean, it'd have to be on the outside for us. You touch our rink for like more than like half a second at any sort of speed, and whatever you got on your hands, your knees, your elbows is gonna rip.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's just painted asphalt, so it's unfortunate, but we have a rink and we're looking to put it somewhere, but haven't found a spot yet. So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, I was using your gloves for a while until all the knuckles, just because of one person tripping me.
Oh god!
I lost the entire knuckles, and then the padding started falling out, which is nothing to the quality. It's just straight to the rink. I mean, the rink's the issue. People's hockey pants don't last. They don't last more than like a game or two without a hole in it.
Oh, I was the one who tripped him. I just was jealous that he had the gloves.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing with our gloves is I got a decent amount when we first started, when I first brought them out and started selling them, and they sold out within like the first week of them being available. And since then I haven't been able to keep them in stock, and I haven't been able to get any more and hold on to them for more than like a couple of days.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a bad problem.
No, absolutely. Those things just blow out and it's crazy. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I wish I could make them faster.
So as somebody who creates protective equipment and apparel for players, do you get pretty excited to see people wearing it? And how important is getting those sponsorships and having teams wearing all your stuff?
I love that. Honestly, when people start wearing my stuff and talking about it and and even in ways of like, I think this could be better, I think this could be better. It's just the fact that people are at least giving it a try and enjoying it to an extent, is like that's the biggest reward to me at the end of the day. And just the fact that there are companies like Bauer and Warrior and CCM that have been around forever and do the same thing that I do. And for people to tell me is like, no, I like this, or, like, oh, this is just as good. It makes me feel good because it's like, man, I know I don't have the experience that, say a Bauer or a CCM's teams of people would have, obviously, but I mean, I've been at it for a while. I still play. I'm not, like I said, I'm not very good, but I know what the player needs and what the player wants in protective equipment. So when it comes to all this kind of stuff, I do my homework, I do my research, and I try to make sure that everything is as perfect as it can possibly be. And, just getting teams that are there enjoying it. And, I've had kids tell me that they feel like their shots better with my sticks. And, I've had teams say like, I don't know why I would ever do anything else other than an epic glove. Cause it just doesn't make any sense to do anything else. That just makes me feel good.
Heck yeah.
I mean, you also kind of look at it like this too. These bigger companies are kind of just, it's the brand, right? And it's been the brand for so long. So, they kind of get complacent and they're not doing anything really to, if anything, they're trying to cut corners on potentially like keeping the same price, but making it cheaper on their end, like most big corporate companies are, right? So, and that's kind of like where I like to go to these like newer, smaller companies and start using their gear because they're trying to stay in the game, right? Like as Epic, you're not trying to be like, oh, I'm going to throw hockey gear out there and people are going to use it one try, it's going to fall apart, and then they're going to come back and buy more. No, because they won't do that, right? So like if you can make a good product that people are like, damn, I'm going to tell my friend about this, and hey, go buy their glove, like go buy their stick. Like it's holding up for me, and like I've used gloves for 6 months to a year, and no hole in the palm, right? Whereas like a Bauer glove, you rip the hole, and it's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna go. I like Bauer; that's my brand. I'm gonna go buy Bauer gloves again, right? So, and I think that's kind of where I find myself trusting newer, smaller companies over bigger companies just for that reasoning alone.
That makes sense. I mean, especially nowadays, man. Like everybody's trying to make things cheaper because they want you to buy it quicker, And I think that has, just looking at our warranty versus anybody else's warranty in the market today is, take our sticks warranty. Everybody offers a 30-day because it'll blow up in 29 or 31, And for us, we offer a 60 because it shouldn't ever actually blow up on you. And if it does, just tell me,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish so many times that I had more than a 30-day warranty on the sticks I had when I was growing up.
Yeah, because I mean, you skating on it for that first day out of the month, and you're just like, all right, it's getting a little weak. I just got to baby it, and of course you take a hack, right?
Yeah.
Or you load up for a clapper and it just blows up on you, and it's like, well, I'm 1 day over warranty, and that's not going to work. Or even if you're on the day of the warranty and you can't send an email quick enough, and you're hoofed anyway.
Yeah. Yep. And that, mine's usually. Well, back when I was especially growing up playing a lot of more travel ice and stuff like that, I'd catch hacks going into the corner and my stick would just explode. I mean, there's certain brands I stay away from or certain branches of brands I stay away from just the fact of experiencing it and going into a junior ice game and with 2 brand new sticks and exploding both of them. And I'm like, all right, never buying this brand again. So yeah, it's
I
just
just feel the pain in that entire sentence. I feel all of that pain.
and then like you buy 2 sticks, right? And you have the second one. And by the time you get the second one, the warranty's done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's definitely it's an odd world where it kind of traps you because companies got to do stress tests on their sticks, right? So they
Yeah.
kind of know how much stress is on their stick, and they can probably average about based on all right, how many times are they playing, yada yada yada, right? And they're like, all right, yeah, if this is a pro ice hockey player, it's going to take potentially 30 days to blow up their stick, and they're like, yeah, we'll get them on the warranty. They'll have to buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the 60-day. The 60 day is great.
Yeah. I mean that was our whole thought is just all we want to do is take care of the people, take care of the customer, so
Heck yeah.
We had Nicky Wydock on, and he plays for the Epic Obeda Blood and Feathers,
good
and
dude.
so and he said nothing but great things about you and the company. I mean, how has it been working with Blood and Feathers and through that partnership of being in the pro league and stuff like that?
So I deal a lot with for Blood and Feathers. I deal a lot with Ken Mace, who's like essentially their point of contact, their guy. Pretty sure he's like the GM basically. He is an absolute gem of a human. Love that guy to the moon and back. Yeah, it's just honestly everything that we've ever done together with Blood and Feathers has just been so easy. And I mean, those guys rep us well. They do nothing but help the brand, and they're one of those guys just ride or die for us, and we'd like to be the same way for them. They're so awesome. They're just good, genuine people.
That's great because he's in the chat talking yup.
That's good.
He said that the gloves are like the Volvo of hockey gloves. They're built for comfort, but at the same time, you could launch a cruise missile at them and they'll keep performing.
There you go.
Thanks, Ken. Checks in the mail.
He also said that pro guys stress test the Epic sticks all the time, and he can't tell you how many guys hack daily on the rink, and the sticks just hold up.
Yeah, that's true. We really went through the ringer with those sticks, man. Like I built those things for 4 years before I even brought them out to the world. They are as close to perfect as you can get while still being light enough and and just have that amazing pop when you fire a shot. I mean, you guys know what it's like. As soon as you get a new stick and you get you start using it, it's like, oh, stick's great. First couple of rips are awesome. Then it starts getting worn in, starts getting a little weaker. Ours just don't do that.
Good.
Yeah.
If there's a shot that comes off of your stick that's actually weak, it's like, okay, yeah, it's actually broken, boys.
Yeah, I was sitting there trying to look at. I was trying to find a good, maybe Ken can get the boys to take a picture with the gloves because I'm not. I see them in the quick videos they have that's edited, but yeah, I was trying to look at because I was trying to I'm rambling, but I was trying to see if they have like using the all black gloves or they get them customized in black and red.
They got a few of just the regular all blacks and some with the black and whites and that kind of thing, but we're actually working on Blood and Feathers team colored gloves with logos and all that.
Nice.
So like I said, it's hard to make those gloves because they take forever, but when you start going on just like custom orders, it's so much easier because at least I know that I need them by a certain date. I need this many, and I need this many sizes with this and this and this, right? So it's much easier to coordinate and work with. So we've got this order going for them. They're gonna really love these gloves.
Yeah, I've seen in the past too, especially with. It seems like now you can confirm or deny this, but do glove orders take longer than other apparel or?
100%. Yeah. It's like at least 3 months to finish a glove order for like a team and whatnot, and then depending on how you want it shipped, because it's either going to go on a boat from Asia to wherever you're at, or it's going to go on a plane, and the plane is much faster but much more expensive.
Yeah. And who knows if it gets caught in the port?
That happened quite a bit in 2021.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
hey,
go ahead, Justin. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask something. I think a lot of clubs and different teams, different adult teams, youth teams, you're providing this service of creating custom jerseys, and I think a lot of people don't know what it takes to get into that. What type of capital they need. Are you comfortable talking about pricing?
Of course.
So what does it cost for a team to get like a full kit?
So I end up charging for roller hockey teams per jersey $50, per pants $50. So if you're doing one color and one pair of pants, you got $100, and $150 if you're doing two colors, right? So it's, for me, I do all of the artwork. I do all of the design and everything. So I'm not paying anybody for that, which I think sets me apart from a lot of other guys. Because when you go from, I don't really want to speak too much on anybody else's operation because I don't really know. But if they're having to do an outside designer, well, you're having to pay for the designer, which means the customer has to pay for that. And if they don't work with or own the factories that they're getting the stuff done at in either Asia or wherever you get your uniforms made, it'll obviously cost you a little bit more because they're still having to make their money. And so at the end of the day, if you're ending up paying $7,500 for a sweater, you're going to have to feel it. The customer's going to have to end up feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I don't own the company, the factory that we work with overseas for our uniforms, but we've had a very good relationship for a very long time now. And we've been able to work with each other instead of, in spite of each other, I'd say. And, I've been able to keep my jersey prices the exact same since we started. And I feel like it's, where we're at, we're fair. I never charge you a design fee. I never charge you for, like however many colors you want to use for anything. If you wanted to do a specific kind of cut, or if you wanted to do a specific way that your pants are, like maybe you want to have those little ties that Mission did back in the day, I'm still charging you $50.
Nice.
Yeah.
How often do you get to be the one who makes the design?
What's that?
Like, how often are you making the design versus people coming to you with something they know they want done?
What's funny is most of the time, even if people come in with their own designs and that kind of thing, if they, I want it to look like this, here I did this on Photoshop or whatever, right? Technically, most of the time I still have to come in and clean it up because, it's just got the lines all have to match and everything has to be the right size and blah, blah, blah. It's all that technical crap that, you have to make sure that you finish right. But I mean, most of the time when somebody comes in and orders a uniform from me, they're just saying, well, my team name is this and I wanted my colors to be red. Like, okay, cool. So you want me just to go nuts on it? And they'll just tell me, yeah, go for it. And if anybody's ever gotten uniforms done by me before, I typically, if that's the case, I send you not just like one or two different looks of how it's supposed to, of how you might want it to look. I send you like 13. Because my mind just kind of goes after a minute, and then I'm just like, I should probably stop and send you what I have, huh?
That's cool though, that you get to be creative still and put a little bit of yourself into it. I'm sure that makes you enjoy it a lot more than the other side of that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, how much I was going to lead to kind of the creativity. I mean, is that something you like doing? Is kind of being creative and getting to kind of dive in and make stuff like that?
Dude, I love it. That's honestly the best part of the job is just being creative and getting to flex that muscle on on an everyday basis. I I used to design jerseys for my house league teams when I was like 12 because I I loved the thought of like, we can all look so fucking cool if we if we just like let's do this, whatever. And I just I love being able to make somebody look as good as they feel. You know what I mean?
That's
Absolutely.
cool.
So there's an individual that you more or less got on the Epic team, right? And that was Jimmy Teed. So like,
It's weird.
love Jimmy Teed. We had him on earlier in the year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how did that come together?
What's cool about Teeter is we had a team last season called Epic Society, and we were working with a couple of the guys that played. They played uh, Arizona State ice hockey team. There's like a lot of good dudes and a lot of guys that they have some pretty big connections in the hockey world. And I think as we go forward, I think we kind of realize, there's some intrinsic value in just getting people that have a lot of eyeballs on them in the hockey community to use your stuff,
Absolutely.
and uh, guys like, Shetland and Overland, these guys they're great. They're great guys. Ended up this season that they're going to go with Champion. Now they're the Champion Wheelers. Um, Good dudes. Wish them nothing but the best. I hope they end up just killing literally everyone, and they have the team to do it. But when Teeter got brought on to play for that team, we were still talking, still trying to get things organized. Never ended up coming to fruition. But I sent Teeter a stick and a couple of the base layer things, like the socks, the cut proof socks, and I have these prototype goalie pants that I haven't talked about anywhere yet, but those are pretty sick, and Teeter loved those. And
Okay.
so we just kind of kept talking, and he's like, yeah, I may play for Champion, but I mean, dude, I'll rep anything you want to send me. So I'm yeah, we're still working with Jimmy, and he's awesome, man. Like, I mean, this guy this guy is nuts for real.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, Jimmy's great,
Yeah.
man. I mean, we always give him a shout out and everything he posts on social media, and he's got the black pads. You threw him the black stick, like it just all goes, man. It looks sick.
Yeah, it really
Right?
does.
And then just him being him and net is just another beast to another force to be reckoned with. So it just
I want to know more about these pants. Are you
yeah.
willing to divulge more details?
I'm definitely willing to go into it. We're
All
we're
right.
basically done with them now, so I can start talking about them.
Sweet.
They're like Under Armour type pants, like the tight compression pants. They have built-in cup, which is always good and nice. For ice hockey players, you'll like it. They have the sock holders, so you pull down the tabs in the front and the back. You can have your socks on them, so you don't need the full, like that Bauer yellow shorts thing that everybody always has. Like, for some reason, everybody has two of them in their bag for no reason. So we have those, and it's fully padded, so tailbone protection, hip protection, groin protection, and it's just a small enough padding to where it fits in literally everything. It'll fit in your goalie pants. It'll fit in just whatever you want to wear, and we have them all made with like this super easy maneuverable foam, and like like a hexagonal pattern, so it distributes the force of a blow. So if you ever do take a shot, if you're a goalie, and say for any reason you just don't have enough hip protection in your pants, and you take a shot off of our pants, it's not gonna hurt you near as much as it would.
Very
Okay.
cool.
So it's kind of like you kind of merged a little bit of like the early on armadillo kind of armor suit, but instead of for the upper body, it's for the lower body.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, and goalies everywhere have been kind of wanting that type of thing, right? You know, there have been NHL goalies is just like any extra padding at all, just anything would help,
Yeah.
right? You know, so that's what we ended up doing is just like, all right, we're gonna put as much padding as we can in here without making it bulky.
Hey.
And Teeter seemed to absolutely love them too, and I find that high praise. So
Yeah.
Hey, he's doing splits in them, so that's durability is there.
yeah,
Strong
So-
and flexible.
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy.
So are the hexagonal padding, is that just, and I may have missed it, but is that just like in the thighs, or is that's only in certain regions?
So far, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, because I mean I wasn't sure if like I don't know. I mean it wouldn't really make sense to have them. Like, I guess you could potentially have them like on the knees or whatever like that for extra padding there. But I'm just I'm trying to think like how low does it go towards the knee for the padding?
We stop basically in the thigh area, so you're not coming too much close to the knee. What I found, we tried to test that myself, just by like I just stitched extra padding onto mine just to see if I could add more. But I found when I dropped into a butterfly, and I'm a butterfly goalie, so that's really all I have. If I drop into the butterfly with where I put the pads and how I kind of maneuvered it all, it felt like I was landing a little wrong. And I also have terrible knees, so any extra pressure where there shouldn't be, it'll just take them right out, and I can't handle that anymore. So I decided we'll just stick with the hips and the groin and the tailbone for now.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. Some goalies you get the little gap above your knee, right? So I wasn't sure if if it would go down that far or not. But
I'm sure I can end up doing that. I just haven't had enough time to actually make that kind of an adjustment to it. But
Sure.
for the areas that we focused on, we absolutely love this thing.
Okay.
Very
well,
cool.
If Jimmy T loves it, I love it.
Ringing endorsement, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Except it's just flashy because he's over in Europe and he's playing, and there's photos almost every day him coming out, right? So it's definitely you landed a big fish, which is great, right? So because
Absolutely.
he's repping you hard right now.
Yeah, we love that guy. He's on top of him being a world-class guy, a world-class athlete, and just amazing in all aspects. He's honestly just a really cool dude.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's gonna be sweet too, because he's gonna be more likely be at Worlds too. So
Yes, sir.
You get epic goalie stick at Worlds. Nice and on the big stage. So because he's gonna be playing for Team Canada. I would presume. I don't think they've released their roster yet, but I'd presume he'll be playing for Team Canada.
I think it's a foregone conclusion. I'm not in with Team Canada. Like, I don't know anything at all, but I mean, come on, you'd be crazy not to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Before we got started, you mentioned that you were disappointed in the pro circuit of roller. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Tim and Darren, State Wars and Arch, and tours and all these tournament series, they do a really, really good job, and they put on an insane show. You know, like who doesn't love going to state wars? Who doesn't love going to Narch finals? You know what I mean? Like all these things are great, but man, you guys follow roller for a living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy following roller, like figuring out where all these players are playing and, you know, like, oh, what's their stats against this team? And, you know, like everybody started doing live barn and whatnot now. And you got some decent guys going out and doing the announcing and all this kind of thing. And that's great. It's getting better to a place that I wanted it to be at for a while, but man, it's just nowhere near. It's like I just told this story actually yesterday when I was talking about roller. I got upset. I think it was the first Narch that I went to with Epic, which would have been 2021. No, 2022 would have been it. And you know, I'm there for Narch finals. It's 2 weeks long, so I got a hotel room, and when I'm getting ready in the morning, I'm getting ready to take off. I just have ESPN on. And I don't have any of the sound on because I'm not really paying attention. But, you know, before I leave, I'm going to go turn off the TV, and I look and it's fucking cornhole.
Yeah.
Like they got cornhole on ESPN, and it's just like, this is the biggest cornhole championship of it's like, and I'm just like, so cornhole gets ESPN2 and Narch finals, which is going on right now, has live barn.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, it's nothing that Darren or Tim or anybody that runs these tournaments can fix on their own. You know what I mean? And you can't blame them for the status of where roller hockey is. Just the fact that it is such an amazing sport, front to back. It is so compelling and awesome. And some of these players, I mean, dude, you got guys like No, you got, I mean, dude, Chivera, Eton Chivera, man, like this guy skates on walls. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane the way that these guys play the sport and just how flashy it is. And man, like ice hockey, the NHL wishes they had as much flair and charisma as the roller hockey does, and nobody knows it.
Yeah. Well, and
it's kind of sad.
The crazy thing too, right, is that we're gonna have the Miwa games, right? And they won't be on TV.
No.
You gotta go online. You gotta watch it there on their YouTube channel, I think it is, or it's their website. And it's, you know, and I think the roller world has taken somewhat of the next step, right? Which is, you know, when we get into Narch finals and tour finals and state wars, like the pro divisions, they are broadcasted, but it also depends on where. Sometimes it's never in the same spot. So sometimes it's on YouTube, sometimes it's on some other company's websites, and you know, it's just year after year, it's almost a guessing game, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I'm on board with you with that. It's like, where's somewhere down the line, there's got to be unity in the sport.
I mean that not to say that it doesn't have to happen with Narch and State Wars and tours and all these other tournament series that go on. It's not that I'm saying, oh, do away with them. You know, it's like, no, don't do away with them. They're great for the sport. They're good for, I mean, people come from all over to play in these tournaments. But the fact that we don't have a centralized professional league for these guys where they get paid to play and, you know, all this, like, dude, there are guys that play in the ECHL for less money than what a professional roller hockey player should be making. I'll be honest.
Yeah. And, you know, and it partially goes with, you know, you look at Spain, you look at Italy, you look at France, and, you know, just look at France in general. I mean, France has a day where they block streets in Paris, right? And they let people skate through the streets because they're like roller hockey or just roller in general, right? Which then allows people to skate, which then, you know, next step is, hey, what do I want to do? Do I want to do anything with roller skating? Do I want to play hockey? And then they have a pro league now, right? So now they have the pro league, which the country backs, which is
it's incredible.
Yeah. and Ken in the chat said, roller tribalism and gatekeeping holds the sport back, and I agree. There's a ton of gatekeeping, and there's a ton of tribalism, right? And it's like we have the big three, and never know what goes on behind the scenes, but they're in. Like I said, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus or anything like that, but there are chokeholds, right? And the brands are going to carry whatever wherever they go, right? So if any of the big three want to schedule something on a different day, on the same day as a smaller tournament or something like that, something that's up and coming, who do you think people are going to go to, right?
Exactly.
So, and instead of there being a welcoming and like, hey, like we let's work on the same team and let's grow the sport, there's just the big three.
Yeah.
And it's tough too, because like you want to see them all do well, but I also feel like that I'm going to be a little I'm going to critique them a little bit. They're comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Right. Where some of them don't upload all of the rosters for teams and keep clear stats. Right. Where guys want to look back on it and be like, yeah, man, like look at this. Like I scored 10 goals in round robin like that. People want to do that. That's what people live for in hockey. People are stat keepers,
Absolutely.
People, whether it's their logo on the website because their team roster's there, it's just small things like that where our big three are getting kind of complacent. And the product is not as good as it can be.
I agree. I would agree with that.
And that's what frustrates the crap out of me when we get in the roller season and I'm seeing these lapses and I'm seeing how much money they're making. And I'm like, you couldn't spend a little extra time on that? So,
yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Costa.
Sorry. So, but that's the whole thing with basically every end of the industry, right? Is you look at the tournament series, and you can make the argument that all the big guys are getting complacent and whatnot, but then you can also make the argument that the companies making the gear, i.e. Bauer, CCM, all those, well, they're complacent too because why innovate when we know you'll buy it anyway?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, all they have to do is make a new design, right, and then be like, "This is the new improved." It's like it's the same.
You're lucky to get a new design. Even you end up getting a different color.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We're talking about the big three as far as tournament series, but then you have something like Paiha, right? Which is attempting to take on the professional roller hockey from a different angle.
Right.
What do you think about what they're doing?
I like what they're doing. I wish it could grow a little bit quicker, or somehow have a bigger reach. Like the way that they're going about it seems like the right way. It's just it's so slow, and I mean, I think maybe it's me, but it's like I feel like the sport's been around long enough to where we don't have to have the training wheels on it anymore. Like this is a well-known sport. This is a sport that is absolutely going to take off if enough people get to see it. But the fact that you've got these guys that they're doing it the way that they think they need to do it, but it's just like, man, snail's pace here, guys. Let's bring it up a little bit, punch it up.
Yeah, and the good thing about Paiha is they continue roller hockey into the non-roller season, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough too, right? Because you look at it and you go, you look at all the teams that are in the pro scene, right? And at some point, it's like, is this all the talent we have? Is this all the good players that are top notch that we have in this country, or just in North America, right? That we can get to whether it's the big three or Paiha, because Paiha gets restricted because, if you look at the guys playing overseas or the guys playing ECHL or SPHL, right? And that's understandable. but when we can field, and let's just say six. Let's just go with 6 solid through and through teams, right?
Mhm.
And it's not a knock on anyone else, but like that, you're talking 60 guys, right?
Yeah.
And 60, and I'll just do air quotes, like pro players in the pro division. And then let's just say, the rest of the teams that are there, or let's just say they're not necessarily up to that caliber, right? There can't just be 60 guys.
No.
Like, where's the rest?
But we know there's not just 60 guys. But the fact that those guys aren't getting paid to play, they're not getting their accommodations or a per diem a day, or whatever it is, like that they would get in, say, the ECHL or the USHL, or like some of these other leagues that yeah, it's ice hockey and it's not the sport that we're also enamored with as roller, but in honesty, it's like, if you don't have that, what's the incentive to play?
True.
I think the whole thing is you've just got to be able to offer these players something that makes them say, yeah, I can skip X, Y, and Z for this. Because, you're playing Paiha or whatever, that's great, but I mean, when's the last time you had any of the guys that play for Palma or, Black Ice or whatever, and yeah, those are essentially terrorist teams, right? But when have you had those teams jump in on a Paiha season? You haven't.
Yeah, you get a few guys here and there, and then they get split up because there's only X amount of actual guys that play in the pro circuit allowed on a certain team, which
I'm fine with. I'm fine with you splitting up. Like, if you take all of Palma and all of Black Ice and you disperse them amongst teams around everywhere else in the league, I'm fine with that. But what I want you to do is make it easy for me to follow the games, make it easily accessible to watch, and make it easily followable for stats and things that I can talk about with my friends at a water cooler. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But
yeah.
And the fact that those guys, not all of those guys, will come out and actually do that is because, well, shit, what's the point? I can play, like, for Palma, it's like, well, Narch comes to Irvine every year. Like, I don't have to drive far. I can just be right here. And for Black Ice, it's like, well, we're just going to go play in State Wars in Chicago or Nashville or wherever it is, and we're just going to, we're going to rec shop over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you look at, too, like, right, and you're looking at, you got college nationals going on right now.
Yeah.
It's only on the ncrha.tv website, right?
All right.
It's not
you
even
can only
on
get it through an emulator for some reason.
Yeah, right. And it's ESPN has a stranglehold on college sports.
Yeah.
It's not even there. It blows my mind too, because you have all different sports that you can go on ESPN and watch. Like, there's terrible live streams of D3 soccer games, right? And you don't have the D1 roller games anywhere available, and it's probably because of money.
I would assume so.
Which blows my mind.
I mean, and to be fair, if you were to try to put a professional league together, we're not talking like NHL status. You know what I mean? Like, It wouldn't have to be like that. But I mean, look at the amazing work that the PWHL has done this year. Like, you guys seen any of those games and whatnot? They're all on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're all streaming, but they get hundreds of thousands of people every day tuning in to see what's going on. But they're doing it in a way that, and yeah, we're going to make the comparison ice to roller and whatnot. But I mean, like, this is the women's game that has gotten shit on forever. Mm-hmm. And somehow this year, everybody went, yeah, women's hockey. I like this. Right. And,
and they did it right, too.
Love it. And I love it. They're doing great. They're doing an amazing job. But what they're doing, just if you were to take those steps the same way that, that they ended up doing this, like, go and pay the players, make it make it accessible for people to watch, make it interesting. They came up with those rules for the playoffs and everything like that. Like you hear the number 1 seed gets to pick who they play in the first round. That's freaking cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then when you're officially eliminated from the playoffs, then your stats go into a separate standings to where if you're officially eliminated from the playoffs and then continue winning or try to win, then whoever has the most points at the end of the season in that bracket where you've been eliminated gets the number 1 pick. Like that's again pretty sick.
It incentivizes not diving, not taking.
Yeah. Don't tank. This is how you stop tanking.
Yeah, well, and talking about the PWHL, right? And it's just the live stream is so good.
Yeah.
Right. They nailed that aspect of it, which is half the battle because you don't want to come in and have the worst announcer ever, right? And be bored out of your mind or be like, I can't stand this person's voice. No, they nailed it. Mm-hmm. They nailed the cameras are good. The announcers are good, right? And it's just they started out good. Like they're not like, oh, we'll get better as years go on. No, they're like, no, it's got to be right.
Right. They came out of the gate fire.
Yeah, I think that all those new rules, kind of the innovative concepts, and then maybe even mix in something like what they do with 3 ice, where it's just kind of a bit more exciting in that way. If that's what we have to do to get the exposure or to get people to get on board with it. I mean, I was just thinking about it, and the MLS showed up. At one point, this country really didn't care about soccer in that way, but they can still do numbers. They can still get on TV. I don't understand why, if you don't just try with roller, just put some effort into it, give it a go. I guarantee people would like it.
But I mean, the more and more you look at it, you see there's like in ESPN you have cornhole, you have pickleball, right? Like these sports that nobody even heard of before are on ESPN. You know what it tells me is that ESPN is hurting for content. They want any kind of content, and if you can deliver it to them and make it a value for them, they'll put anything on their freaking network, man. So why in God's name is Narch Finals not on ESPN? It should be.
Yeah.
Communication breakdown has to be.
Yeah. You would assume.
I mean, you watch the games. You can go back. Again, they're hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find them. And when you find them and you watch them, there's been a few that were covered great. The broadcast was pretty dang good. And the games are super exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that's great about roller versus ice is there's a lot of goals. Like, even a game that's low scoring is still more goals than most ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
A lot more kind of like creative play, I guess I would say as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's just more, like, there's more flash, and that's a culture thing too, right? Like, I know this from my time of just trying to sell my products. I try to sell my products to ice guys. I try to sell them to roller guys, and the ice guys are just like, well, no, black and white. I need it black and white, and that's the only colors I'm ever allowed to have, black and white. Roller guys are just like, can you do fluorescent green?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a culture thing, right? Like, ice is stuffy and ice is traditional, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, that's what ice is. Roller is flashy and fun and new and vibrant, and it's just like, that's everything that every network wants right now.
Yeah.
So for what reason are we still in the shadows? I don't get it.
Unity.
Yeah, I guess.
And I mean, you got to think, if they band it together, let's just say, take the big 3, for instance, right? If they band it together and made a pitch to ESPN to even just throw it on their network, even on ESPN Plus, right? For what is it? It's going to be 9 days total, 3 days for each pro division, maybe even 4. So it's 9 to 12 days, right? How does that hurt the network? It doesn't.
It doesn't.
They get really fun to bet on.
They get it.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
We need to bet. Give us sports.
Let's talk about the real money moves here. Let's just start betting on this shit.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, you think about it. That's all that's going on right now with all these big leagues. They're just pushing all the sports betting.
Well, you know, when you look at it too, right? It's not talking NBA player because that's just stupidity on what he did, right? But you look at you can wear a gambling logo on your jersey or helmet, but you can't gamble on another sport in the facility.
Shane Pinto. That's a
you know, but it was also NFL players too. There was like two or three that caught a couple game suspension in the NFL season because they gambled in their facility, not on football, but on another sport. And because there's a rule, you know, we're going to throw, you know, at least once a commercial, there's some sort of gambling commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
And so it's like, you're enticing people to gamble, but not in your stadium, not in your locker room. Step outside. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Also Shohei Ohtani, that whole thing that happened. I mean, from what it sounds like, it was, you know, he was taken advantage of pretty hard. But I mean, still at the same point, it's like, you know, you get these pro athletes that they can't. It's almost like they just really can't live their own lives, you know. Like, but that's kind of what the money's for, right? You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know, man. Like the betting aspect of it all, like that's why you see these franchises' values skyrocketing. I mean, the Senators just sold for $950 million. Like, there's 2 years ago, there was no way the Senators would sell anywhere near 900 million. You know?
Can you imagine what a pro team like Black Ice or something would do with just $1 million?
Oh my God, insanity!
Give them $500,000 and watch what they do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, if you get some guys out there that, like, you get the unity involved with the big three, let's say, and let's just say each one of you is the commissioner of your own division in the pro league, in the pro championship league or whatever, right? And now you've got all these teams, and they pay dues, but they're also, you know, like, they get a share of the cut of gate revenue. You're playing in bigger buildings, you know, all that kind of thing. And, like, I don't know, maybe that's enticing to some. I feel like it should be. It's one of those things that if you want the sport to grow, it has to take its steps. You can't let it be, you know, the baby anymore. That, no, we just play tournaments. You know, it's like, yeah, you can play tournaments, but if there's nowhere to go after you hit 18 with the sport to be a professional and make a living out of it, the sport's gonna die, guys. It's gonna freaking die.
Yeah,
you have to have a goal.
Well, and
there has to be an end goal. There has to be something at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the tunnel. There has to be something.
Well, which goes along with what's in chat, which is, as long as the sport remains in these tournament formats, there's no chance it will ever break through into mainstream. Right?
Exactly. It's got to be. The training wheels have to come off.
Yeah, and I think that does come through unity. I mean, they are unified into an aspect of not overlapping their schedules, but there can be more being done for the sport. There can be more balance in, you know, and I'll just throw it out there because, with just between a men's prize and women's prize, right?
Oh my God, that was disgusting when I heard what the prizes were.
Yeah, what is it? 30,000 for 30,000 for one and 5,000 for the other.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, and so, yeah, and I understand that there is an individual that has been supported roller hockey for a while, and it's his money. Understand it, but, you know, let's get a little more. You know, if you want, as much as women's roller hockey has been growing,
women's hockey in general, right?
Well, I mean, but even just roller hockey in general. I mean, in order to make a splash, the women in the roller hockey community had to create an Instagram and create a splash on there to even get some sort of, like, you know, people were like, to start making people realize that there's a big community of them, right? And so now they're getting pro prizes in roller, which is huge, but we're still coming up short. We're still coming up. We still can do more for the women's side of the sport, right?
Of course.
You know, and that's, I mean,
And we
listen,
need to, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. It's I enjoy watching the women play because some of them are just ruthless.
Bro,
Oh, yeah.
way more physical than the men's game.
Yeah, I mean, there are some men like PJ will tell you, like PJ DiMartino, like, I don't care who you are, if you go to the corner of me, I'm gonna destroy you. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
Which is great.
obviously, yeah, but I mean, like in the women's game, that's literally everybody on the floor.
Yeah, 100%.
They will freaking take your head off, dude. It's nuts.
And there was a shout out in the chat to Ali Era for the women's roller hockey social media page. So,
Oh yeah, we were trying to get her on too. We'd love to have her on.
Absolutely.
But you guys, we were talking about the PWHL doing so well and almost using like a new strategy. They came out the gate with rule changes. The interesting thing about not naming the teams right away,
which I didn't know if I really enjoyed either, but it definitely did something for the communities, right? It's like we're not supporting the Ducks, we're supporting Anaheim, right? That kind of thing.
But they put forth that strategy and it was successful. Maybe we need to put forth that same strategy with roller, and maybe we spearhead it with women's.
That'd be nice.
And then
that'd definitely be a different way of going about it than has ever been done. Most people just start with the men's game,
Yeah, I mean, we can only go and try and make a splash, as much as we can do.
Of course, there's only so much that you or I or anybody can really do, right? Like we can sit here and talk about it until we're blue in the face and say, we need the sport to be X, Y, and Z. But as soon as the people that kind of have their hands around the neck of the sport let us kind of breathe a bit, I mean, it's not really a whole lot that can be said.
Yeah, hopefully they hear this, and just the conversations about it, I think will help overall.
Yeah, it's got to start with the conversation, and then then there's someone or people or multiple individuals have to put in the time to create a plan, right? And so it just depends on who.
I mean, if there are any stray millionaires out there in the chat and you wanna own a piece of a roller hockey professional league, let me know. I'm in on it too.
All right, Ken May, sell your house. You're in on it.
Or if he just stops paying his buddy in sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, he's got to stop buying White Hawk pizza. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, his pizza. If he stops buying all those pizzas, he can probably handle paying for a team.
There you go.
At this point, I think he just might have to let White Hawk go and just use the sandwich and pizza money to start it up.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that.
If a professional in line, that was unified well and had to deal with something like ESPN, how quick is Epic Hockey getting in on that?
Oh, dude, foundation.
Yeah,
I'm right in on that. I might even be the jersey sponsor with the I'll have the handle Bauer has an ice.
There you
go.
You said you can do anything with uniforms. Can you do what was it? Shiny purple Bauer helmets?
Yeah, I can do that.
Pandas,
I will say I don't plan on selling helmets just because of the fact that the insurance alone would make it not worth it. But I could definitely still do it.
Well, because I know the pandas are looking for some obnoxious chrome purple helmets.
That's what
Oh,
it was.
dude. Don't tempt me. I'll go for it.
Just you don't have to insure. Just send some prototypes to them.
I mean, the way you get around insurance is just everybody has to sign a waiver. But we'll take that step by step, I say.
I'm trying to find someone to remake the 4500 mold.
Ooh, that's an idea. That's an idea and a half right there. Make that purple.
That's what we're talking about.
I don't care what color you make it. It's just I need the mold back.
Just make it.
He needs a blue one and a green one.
Yeah.
Who was it? Didn't Mission, like, I want to say it had to have been like 20 years ago or something like this now. But didn't Mission make a helmet that was completely see-through?
Yes, they had the clear plastic through it. It was like purple.
It's such a bad idea, but it was so cool.
Well, and if you think about it, I don't know if you remember those first Mission helmets.
Mm. Oh yeah,
they were practically 4500s.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
It's almost the same mold, I would assume.
And it was the same padding, right?
Yeah.
So, but Mission came in, threw a bunch of equipment at people, and then was like, this isn't for us. And then it was like, we're just going to make skates.
Sad.
So, yeah.
I had their 3-finger gloves at one point. Those were fucking sick.
What color?
White and silver.
Okay.
Because I was a flashy roller guy.
Well, because you had them, you had Built Right. They were like the two companies
going
with the
Built
3-finger
Right too. I forgot about Built Right.
Yeah, because I had the all white Built Rights, but I also had the red, white, and blue Missions with 3 fingers.
Oh yeah.
Except that the Built Rights I had, my brother decided that he was going to go through the phase where everyone cut the tips of the fingers off their gloves.
Oh my god, I remember that. I remember it making no sense too.
Yeah, it was like people were like, "Oh yeah, you can grab your stick better." I'm like, or you can get your fingernail chopped off.
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. Or hey, here's a thought: gloves that fit. That's an idea.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, it just some of the things that came in too soon.
Yeah.
Ahead
of their time.
Yeah, and it was also companies coming in, and I think we've talked about it in the past, Justin, but companies coming in, throwing a bunch of money at the sport because it became popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing nothing behind marketing or keeping a solid structure. They're like, if we throw equipment at people, they'll just continue buying our stuff. And it's like, no, they're going to continue using your stuff and not buying it.
Yeah.
It's the wrong business model.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. It's sad. I mean, heck, man, roller hockey used to have such a culture and a thing, like a mystique around it and whatnot. And then forget what it was, but like basketball took over. It was like the 90s, right? When like everybody was playing roller.
Lacrosse happened.
Roller was popping off, and then lacrosse came out, and like everybody started playing basketball more, and it was like, damn, dude, like how do we get left in the dust? Like, come back.
Yeah, I guess it's too far in the middle of the spectrum between accessible and not as accessible, like ice hockey being not accessible,
right?
And basketball being like the easiest sport to play outside of soccer.
Yeah, because everybody, like every park has a basketball court for some reason.
Yeah, well, and
multiple.
You mentioned MLS becoming big now too, right? Well, look at the price of everything now, right? And so it's like, all I have to do is buy shin guards and cleats.
If you're bougie, yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Some guys just like, tennis shoes and a ball. Like, I'll go grab the ball.
But then again, if you're Mike Tardino, you're using the least amount of equipment as possible to play roller hockey. Psycho. He's psycho. Very good, but he's a friggin' psycho, man. I don't understand.
I played my first ball hockey tournament last weekend, and the amount of guys that ran out there with no shinnies.
Oh no.
Y'all are touched in the head a bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks, dude. Ball like hockey in general, you're gonna take it to the shins. But
Oh,
ball hockey, I would
absolutely.
assume it gets wild.
Yeah, I was playing defense, and I was just like, yeah, I'll stand in front of a couple because like I'm not good enough to score, and I'm barely good enough to pass, but I can eat shots all day long. I'm good with that. So I stood in front of a ball hockey shot. This guy wound up with a clapper and hit me square in the stomach.
Oh,
I'm a big boy, so I was like, it's fine. No real worries. Got back to the hotel later that night, took off my shirt, and it was just giant freaking black bruise, and it's in the perfect circle. Like, what happened? I'm surprised it didn't say Milek on it.
Yeah.
uh,
So and you're mentioning ball hockey, and there's been nothing but, and Justin, you and I on our No Offsides account follow the National Ball Hockey Association or League, or
That's where I played, the National Ball Hockey League.
But they
Buddy.
have divisions all over the country,
Yep.
right? And so they do their regular season, and you're competing, and then eventually they bring everyone together.
Yep.
Like, that seems like a model that would be successful potentially in roller.
No, it'd be great. Honestly, it'd be in a way that everybody could kind of at least follow it, but again, you still have to have the backing behind it to make it really take off. But what league tried to do that with roller way back in the day was the AIHL.
Yes.
We had a couple of teams out of the Ripon rink, and we played in the AIHL, and yeah, it was a whole thing of like, okay, we win in Northern California, and then we go play nationals somewhere, and we'll go through the California division, and then we go through the Midwest division, and if we make it that far, then we'll play for a championship, probably against the East Coast, right?
that's kind of like what Paiha does.
Yeah.
And we're talking about exposure for roller, and now you're talking about ball hockey, and it just made me think about it more. But something that's great that's been happening is the Chicklets Cup.
That's huge.
They'll do
Anything
ball
with
hockey.
Biz and Wit, anything with those guys just helps bring so many more eyeballs to the sport.
Yeah.
Well, and it's looking like the AIHL hasn't been around since 2019?
Yeah, something like that. Sadly, it was such a fun league, honestly. The commissioner at the time when I was doing it with them was Anthony Flynn. He's out of New York, I believe. He was a beautiful man. Like he was so smart, so good at his job, and like I think everybody just doing what they could to bring the sport into relevance, and then it just kind of blew up on him.
I actually think he's in Paiha now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he runs the East Coast division, the Northeast.
Good for him.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Because I'm looking at it too, right? You have just talking about AIHL real quick. You had West Coast and East Coast teams. You had about 4 or 5 in each division, and then the minor divisions were huge.
Yeah, minor divisions were silly.
Like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. About 10 teams in each division, and some of these teams are still around too. Like East Coast Impact are in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's Rink Rat team. There's Liberty, which I would assume might be the Liberty team that was around for a little bit up in PA.
I think so, yeah.
Right, and then the Maven Mafia is they're still around. The
Bandits, I believe, they're still kicking in Pittsburgh. If I'm not wrong on that one.
All right, so there are. It's nice to see there's a NorCal team. So it's just nice to see that those teams didn't just disappear. They found other places, but yeah, considering how many teams are here, it's essentially. I think they just possibly got liquidated by Paiha, if I'd have to take a good guess.
Yeah, I would assume.
Chad is saying that they merged.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a good league.
Sorry?
That was a good league back in the day.
And I think Paja's really trying to do it. With their last championship, they went all out. Like the rink is amazing up in Colorado. The broadcast was solid. I think if they can get the right backing, they could be a step towards some real unity.
Yeah,
especially with like the Oders involved there.
I was gonna say the Oders helped put that on, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smart guys, those Oders.
Yeah, because you got the
love the
Oders, you got Anthony Flynn on the East Coast, and then you got Joe Araya as the West Coast coordinator.
Yeah, good guys, man. Like the Oders are really smart. Been in the game a long, long time. Flinner, he was awesome. They AIHL. I'm glad he stuck around and did kept going with it because he was good, man. I was real happy with Flinner.
Oh, and Ken also said that he's ready for his epic ball hockey contract in 2025.
Yeah, no, you have it, bud. No, we're making a team. That's a foregone conclusion. That's going on. I already made the jerseys.
Ooh. Well, Justin, do you want to wrap things up with some rapid fire? I mean, we can spend all day here talking. Gosh, just about anything.
Yeah,
I can and would if you guys wanted, man.
Well, we'll definitely have you back again.
Yeah.
In the future, we'll probably do some shows where we bring a couple people on at a time and have big discussions like this. So we'll bring you in on
very
that.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm all for the
hot
topics. So we get more of a panel and we can talk about. I'm looking forward to when we start doing the panels and we get more people in conversations and really feel out how people really feel about things.
Oh, cool. Yeah, panels like I'm gonna be Stephen A. Smith with my hot takes.
Please.
I don't know. You got to beat out Ken though.
That's true. Wow. That's true. Freezing cold takes over there is what I hear.
But then again, he still has to waive his no interview contract.
But I mean, we still got a bunch of shows lined up. Colby Collier, Andrew Height from the Detroit Border Cats, Rodrigo Santo, he's a Brazilian player, George Brown, Scooter Vaughn, Ryan Marker. Once we get through a lot of these guys as we go forward booking, we'll bring in some more kind of paneled things, group discussions.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the paneling we probably should start. I'd say probably around our anniversary.
Yeah,
and do something a little different. Yeah, it's coming up.
But I wanted to ask you because it's something that's been fun to ask. Dan brought it up a while back. What are some changes to roller that you think would help it grow? Outside of just, actually like the unity and stuff like that, like maybe changes to the game.
Right. Is a really, really good question.
Do we lose you?
Or is he thinking?
I think we lost him.
Oh no. Scared him off.
He's thinking really hard. He's like, that's a hard question. I'm out. Come back, Daniel. But yeah, Dan, we'll start getting some more stuff going. If there's anybody who's been on the show already and would like to jump on again and kind of talk more about like the state of roller. And
sorry, was I?
You're muted.
I think you're muted.
My wife just took the car out of the garage. I think my phone went to the Bluetooth in the car.
Oh.
What was the last thing you heard?
I asked the question. You said that sounds like a hard question, and then thought you were just really
good. So I didn't explain shit. Awesome. Wheels falling straight off this bitch.
Oh no.
So what I was saying is, I think what would be nice for the sport is it kind of, if you're Palma, which I've seen so many times, they kind of like, they take the puck back behind their net, they set up, they get going. If it's not perfect, they'll take it back again, they'll run it again. It's, the pro game is rather slow, but when it starts clicking, it clicks hard. I think would be really interesting, but I don't know how you would make it work and make it seamless, is if you could add a shot clock or something that makes it impossible for you to slow the game down to a snail's pace, and you would have to just continue going, because I mean, there's no icing, there's no offside. You want to be able to use that to your advantage and make it quick and constantly quick, right? I think that's one of the things that I would like to fix. Other than that, there isn't much out there other than the fact that to sell tickets, you got to be physical. And I think hitting needs to be legal. I think if you're going to try and make it that way, then I mean, fighting you could make the case for fighting. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I think a lot of guys would appreciate it, and I know, fighting sells tickets. So,
well, and I think the European model has kind of, with the smaller rinks, right? I think it forces it kind of eliminates the patience game a little bit. And so, and that I never really put it together until just listening to you. And I'm like, oh, well, because we've had several people, Justin, that are like, hey, like shot clock, or, no take back, or, any of those rules. But I'm like, what makes European League such run and gunny? But it's a small rink.
Yeah.
There's not enough time to set up. And I mean, you want to set up and slow down, you're gonna have a guy right on you, so you better have precise passing.
Yeah. So, which is fine. Go ahead and have your precise passing, because that's actually really fun to watch when you're passing and clicking so well. That's amazing. But I mean, when you can just literally stand behind your net for 3 minutes at a time and kill the clock, it's like, okay, at one point somebody make him move. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe an adoption of a smaller rink, maybe like because they play on 135 foot
in Europe, something like that. Yeah.
So maybe like a 160, 165, and then use our size nets though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's not a bad idea.
Because that's the hard part about the smaller European nets, is it feels like it definitely cuts down on the goals, and that's kind of part of the fun of roller.
Yeah, agreed. Would you still go 4-on-4, or would you do 3-on-3?
4-on-4.
Yeah, I mean, we go 4-on-4. But
still less space, but there's all kinds of opportunity with it still too. So
another take though is that you could go 3-on-3. Not saying I would like this, right? But if you were to get a league, right, of like North America, and you look at all the pro teams we have, we talked about it, right? But you do 3-on-3, and you do like 9 skaters. So that just eliminates the pool of players on one team and forces them to another.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just an idea just popped in my head,
That is a good point, because you want to be on one of those best teams, but then some of those guys are kind of, I don't want to say they're being wasted, but if they're not playing a ton of minutes, they could be playing a ton of minutes on another team. And
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be like me when Blood and Feathers gives me a contract, and I'm gonna be their good luck charm on the first win this year, and I'm gonna get my rookie lap, and I'm gonna look good in the red and black and white. With my red Bucky that they're gonna get a customized 4,500 for me.
Yeah.
So,
Ken, you listening, bud?
He knows already. He already agreed to this.
Yeah, and and now Ken's gonna throw in the epic red and black gloves. He's gonna get me what's going into the contract is the how they do the around the skate now. The whatever the the sticker that goes on your boot. Like Ken's hooking me up, like, and it's on this podcast, so it's all true.
Yeah. Chat saying, pro beach hockey did the ramp behind the net to add something to it. I can't lie. I never really liked the ramp.
I don't like the ramp, but I like the fact that pro beach hockey was a thing and it was an option to go watch on the beach.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Like, was it the best of hockey? No, but it was still a different form of hockey than we were used to. So it made it interesting.
Never fully understood or liked the ramp myself, but it wasn't. I applaud them for trying. At least, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely worth giving it a shot. And, I think one thing that slowed the growth of pro beach hockey down is they did all the games in one day.
Yeah.
And they just recorded them and played them like they were happening live. So even if you wanted to get into it and go like, oh, I know on the schedule, the Huntington Beach team is playing, the Colorado team or whatever, right? Like, I want to go watch that game. It's like, oh, well, no, you can't. All the games are already actually recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, you just have to literally be there and just stumble upon it.
Right. Yeah.
The chat also said that they want to see people go into 1v1 for penalties. And I like that for an idea where if there's coincidentals, those two guys have to battle it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Dan hates it.
Oh, I mean, if there's checking allowed, then I'll go into the corner and destroy someone and take the puck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you add checking into it, and all of a sudden, this is a different game.
That's true too. It brings me back. Like, I mean, I've talked about this so many times in my childhood. Between 6 and 9, being full check roller hockey, fantastic. Loved it.
Oh yeah.
Well, because when you're between 6 and 9, you couldn't actually hit anybody yet.
Yeah, I mean, we wore shoulder pads and everything, like you were, and then it just made transitioning to ice hockey so much easier.
That's true.
Yeah, I think if you added hitting and went 3v3, that'd be a little bit too much. You'd have to have 4 for hitting.
Yeah.
You'd have to roster 15 guys just for the injuries.
Yeah. It would be weird to see rollers start wearing more pads.
It'd be a little strange. It'd be a little strange. That's part of the allure to it. Is it looks like, you're more. I don't want to say manly, but it just looks like you're more, batshit crazy because you're not wearing any real padding other than your shins.
Yeah. Yeah, for how physical it gets, people don't really think about it. That when you're not wearing shoulder pads, when you're getting hit in the corners or along the boards, you still feel it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, tell us something positive you have going on with roller. What do you think about it? What's something positive going on? And we'll end on that.
Something positive is going on with roller, and you can say this about any form of hockey. It is the best it's ever been right now. Yeah. All of roller hockey, all of ice hockey, even ball hockey, everything about the sport is the best it's ever been, and the gear is the best, the athletes are the best. Like, anybody from any other era versus anybody now is the best this sport has ever been.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you being here. We got links to your website and your Instagram down below in the description. Thanks, everybody. Guys. Like and follow. Check out Epic Hockey.
Yeah.
Dan.
And well, Justin, you didn't give him the hardest question.
Oh. Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time, guys.
Yeah,
an awesome time. Well, you're right. That question was really hard, though. Thanks for asking it at the end.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
But thanks for watching, everyone. Leave comments in the chat. We appreciate everyone, especially Ken, who every now and then pops in and gives us something to talk about. as Justin said, like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're forechecking roller hockey, don't let up because there's no offsides. I'm Dan Dean.
I'm Justin Wood.
Dan, thanks for coming on, talking epic with us. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep.
We'll catch you later.
Anytime.
No offside.